We're so thrilled to have back on award-winning singer, songwriter, guitarist, producer, session musician, and the voice of a friendly bear with Disney, the one and only McAnally.
What can I say?
I feel like there's so many areas we could talk a long time about here, and we can't talk about any one too long.
Well, my mindset for career has been to try to do enough things that nobody got too aware how inadequate I was at all of them separately.
You're amazing at all of them. I mean, and I was joking with you when we came in the studio earlier to where how many people I've had walk in and go, oh yeah, and McAnally's been working with me. I'm like, well, of course, in his spare time, when he's not out on tour with the Coral Reefer Band.
Well, I only really have one thing I don't suck at, so the fact that I get to immerse myself in music in some form or other almost every day of my life is such a blessing.
Well, and I'll tell you what, speaking of blessings, your new single's out, and we've had you on the show before for your past solo work, but Oysters and Pearls.
Yes.
What a great song, and you did that with Jimmy.
Yeah, it was written a while ago with Jimmy, and we sat on my front porch in Muscle Shoals looking at the river and wrote that song, and it was such a good memory for me, and he cut such a lovely version of it. It never really occurred to me to record it myself because, he said it as well as anybody could say it.
Right.
But after he passed, I was reliving all the wonderful times that we had. So many places I've been that I wouldn't have gotten to go except for him.
Right.
And I sort of settled on thinking about that day that we wrote that song, and I ended up doing my version of it, just to sort of honor the memory. And I don't want to hear myself sing it instead of him, but I love playing it and honoring what we did together.
Well, and when Jimmy Buffett passed, I mean, the first person I thought of was you, just on the friendship and seeing you guys perform live together.
Jimmy never got to play the Ryman, and he wanted to play it as much as anything in the world. And we planned, I can't tell you, maybe 6 or 7 set lists that we did for what the Ryman show was going to be. So when I played, I had his microphone in the center of the stage. I played to the right. I felt like he was there. We sang some of his songs. Kenny Chesney was kind enough, and we sang a couple of Jimmy's songs together, and we sang a couple of things that we wrote together. And so it was an unbelievably special night. Just for me to even be in the building is special. I grew up listening to the Ryman and never even imagined I'd get to be an audience member there, but to get to play there with my name on a ticket is way beyond, I'm a modest dreamer. That was outside of my dream.
You've achieved big. Well, and I wanted to bring up also, and you got to tell us how this song came about with All the Way Around, because it's like, it's such a great title. And I'd read, and listening to the song too, it's like, you can't be unhappy in listening to your songs or yours and Jimmy's songs. It's like they're always they're just fun and bubbly. You know what I mean? It's just, it puts a smile on your face, and this one did also.
Well, Jimmy was a great role model for joy. he was just he had this smile wider than his head that was there every day, no matter what was going on. And it spread like a virus. He made other people happy, and he didn't divide people. He wanted people he agreed with about this and that to be equally happy. He wanted everybody to be happy, and I have some of that.
Yes, you do.
And All the Way Around is a little bit of a joke to my rural upbringing because where I grew up, Belmont, Mississippi. It was a big deal to go to Tupelo, which is 40 miles away, and in fact, it was in our newspaper when someone went from Belmont to Tupelo and ate at McDonald's. And we had 1 day a week paper, so that's week-worthy news when somebody ate at McDonald's. So these days, since I've been traveling all around the world with Jimmy, I go home to Mississippi and I visit my sisters. My baby sister lives in the house that my dad built.
Oh my God.
And she says, "What have you been doing? What are you about to do?" And I will begin to tell her. And 30 seconds into it, she's like, "Stop, I'm hyperventilating. I can't handle it. That's too much, So at a certain point, when I go to see her and she asks that question, she's, where have you been? Where are you going? And I just started saying, All the Way Around.
It's such a great line. And it just covers everything. But I've got to ask you this too. Country Bear Jamboree. Being part of this with Disney, and something that we all grew up with.
Absolutely,
and everything.
yes, for
and
sure.
where it's like, you know, how did Disney just go, McAnally, that's the guy, that's who?
Well, I guess when they decided to change the music after 50 years, that they wanted to use some of the amazing Disney movie songs, which is logical because they have some of the best melodies ever been written.
Oh, totally, hooky.
But they wanted it to be acoustic instruments for the most part, and from the, you know, sort of Appalachian mindset. And probably what made me a failed pop singer, I told them it made me uniquely qualified to be a cartoon bear because I have this thing and a little bit of an accent.
You know, and once again, you know, got to brag on you. You know, selling, you know, sold out tours. I mean, the Coral Reefer Band out with the Doobie Brothers this year.
Yeah.
To where, but it's like, think how many millions of people and millions of kids and families are going to see and hear you with the Country Bear Jamboree, and then when they come out and see you on tour, it's like, that sounds a lot like that bear guy.
Well, ever since the attraction opened in July, and ever since then, in my meet and greet after my show, which I do like a mediocre Baptist preacher shaking hands with everybody at the end of the show.
Just like being back home.
It's just like being home. But every night, I get 1 or 2 Country Bear posters that I've got to sign.
Oh my gosh.
I've got bear memorabilia and sometimes 2 or 3 generations that have gone with their grandparents and their parents to see the Country Bears come. And I occasionally have to do Bear Necessities as a request on stage in the context of the Jimmy Buffett and the McAnally.
I love that. I mean, with all the hit songs, I mean, you know, and you know, Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame, and I mean, they're gonna have your guitar in the Country Music Hall of Fame, your D18, right?
Yep, it's gonna
and be. Then people come up and go, Bear Necessities.
Look for those.
I mean, that's so amazing, Mac. I mean, your career is just, you know, when I look over it and prepare each time to talk with you, I mean, it's like, it's just amazing. I mean, you know, the artists you have worked with, you know, obviously besides Jimmy Buffett, but I mean, all the A-listers, you mentioned Kenny Chesney and George Strait and all these people, Dolly Parton, that you've you know, written songs for, that you've you know, worked on their albums, you produced the albums.
It's just such a blessing, and I don't, you know, I was raised on a farm where you're not really supposed to call attention to yourself. So show business is not a natural fit for me.
Right.
But to have been around and doing music, I don't want to say for a job because I'm playing, but since I was 13, this is what I've been doing for a living. And you know, the music business is really more like athletics in that your career is generally 10 years is a lot. You know?
Right.
And I, starting at 13, and I'm not 13 anymore, by the way.
You spent over 30 years just with Jimmy Buffett.
Just with Jimmy,
and so thrilled that the Coral Reefer Band is still going also.
Oh, it's
what a great testament.
It's a family. He put a family together, and the family stays together, and we love getting to work together. And his fans came every year to see him play, whether he had a new record, and all of that joy is in his music.
Right.
So you know, it was initially sad to lose him, and I played 80 solo shows last year, mainly putting a Band-Aid on a wound for a bunch of really heartbroken fans. But I'm also at the same time reminding them how much joyous stuff he left for us to sing, that works. I say it in the show. I think, you know, his stuff is not so time date oriented. I think 100 years from now, when people buy boats, they're going to come preloaded with Jimmy Buffett music.
Oh, totally.
And people won't even know why, but they'll be glad to have it. You know?
Well, and also I think it's such a testament too, Mac, that you know, with the writers and everybody you've worked with, you take their guitars out, you play their guitars, just like with Jimmy's, as a way of remembrance also.
Oh yeah, I got Jimmy's guitars I'm taking. My buddy Robert Byrne, with whom I wrote 2 Dozen Roses, I play his guitar every night on stage, get to sing our song together. You know, I wish he was here, but his guitar's here and his music's here, so I'm helping spread that around still.
Well, I want to make sure for the tours, for your solo work, for the Coral Reefer Band, and also for the 2 new singles, where do people need to go for websites, social media, everything McAnally?
Well, I was born with this porcupine of a name, McAnally, you know, so you have to do some spelling to find me. Hopefully it's like looking for a last bite of crab meat. Hopefully it'll be good when you find it.
It's worth it.
I don't want to spell it out loud because I might miss it too. But McAnally.com, you can do it. It's on Apple and it's on Spotify and that stuff. And you know, I'm lucky to still get to work in the studio with great people.
Right, with your Muscle Shoals studio.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris Ledoux, I did Chris's last few records, and his son Ned. I've done his records since Ned started singing. And
wow.
we just finished an amazing record with Amy Grant that's going to come out later this summer that I can't wait till people hear, because she hasn't put out a record of new music in 12 years, and she had a lot to say. And you know, as a songwriter, watching somebody at the peak of their powers is enough. I don't even deserve to get called the producer of that record. I was in the audience, but it's a really fine record.
Well, I think you know how to bring out the best in them. Be sure and check out all of the shows and tours. My biggest recommendation is to go see McAnally live, whether it be solo or with the Coral Reefer Band. They're out with the Doobie Brothers. Also, check out both of his singles. Add them to your playlist as I've added them to mine with Oysters and Pearls and All the Way Around. So no matter where you're traveling all the way around.
We're going all the way around.
McAnally. Check it out.